Hello class 10. In this video I will be teaching you it's a queer world and this part will be involving page number 72, 73 and 74 till the first scene. So I will be completing the first scene in this video. This is basically a play that is taken from Drinkwater's Abraham Lincoln. So previously I'll give you a brief recapitulation of what we have done. In our previous text named Abraham Lincoln, we have seen a different characteristics of Abraham Lincoln, that how a boy from a simple log cabin boy was able to live in a White House, what are the problems that he had solved, his career graph. So these were the major issues that we have dealt about in the first chapter. This chapter, at the very beginning, we get to see a very different characteristics. This is a play form, it is written in a play form, where we see the kind nature of Abraham Lincoln. We get to see that he is repeatedly questioning his mates that shootings are taking place, is war taking place. So these are the things that he is asking. Okay, now here I start the next part. Page number 72. Grant. Where is he? So previously he was talking about that whether there was a shooting. So Grant says that yes, there is a shooting and there is a boy. What happened to that boy? The name of the boy was William Scott, and he was found being asleep. He was on a double duty, and that was a terrible offense, and so we have decided that punishment should be given, and that is shooting. So he wants to meet the boy, and then it starts. So here it goes. Grant. Where is he? Mullins. In the barn, I believe, sir. So he's there, I think. He's arrested. So I believe he's there. Grant. Dennis. Coming from his table. Yes, sir. Grant. Ask them to bring Scott in there. Dennis goes. I want to see Colonel West, Mullins. Ask Templeman, if those figures are ready yet. So Grant says, ask them. He again orders somebody that please go and ask Scott, to ask them to bring Scott. And then he says that I want to see Colonel West, Mullins. So go and ask for him. Ask if those figures that he had submitted regarding the shootings and the fighting figures are those correct. So he is asking that. William Scott is brought in by a guard. He is a boy of 20, so he is very young. Then Lincoln says to the guard, thank you. Wait outside. Will you? And then he says to the guard, please go. Wait outside. If I require you, I will call you. The men salute and withdraw. Are you William Scott? So the guards go, and then he asks him, are you William Scott? So Scott says, yes, sir. Lincoln. You know who am I? So innocent, he is asking that, do you know who am I? Because most of the time the people in the lower rank, they do not see their actual boss. They only see someone who is just at the hierarchy, just at their top level. They do not know who is actually their master, who is ruling them. They only know whom they preside, who gives them the order, but they don't know who is at the top level. And during that time, as there was no television, as we can now see our Prime Minister and Chief Minister giving speeches, during that time that was not possible. So knowing the face of the Prime Minister was not a president was not a very common thing. So he says that, do you know who am I? Yes, sir. Lincoln. The general tells me you have been court-martialed. So the general says me that you are being suspended because of your deed. Scott. Yes, sir. Lincoln. Asleep on guard. He knows everything. Lincoln knows everything. But yet he questions that you were on guard in order to know the truth from his side. What he says in his defense. Scott. Yes, sir. Lincoln. It's a very serious offense. So it's a very serious offense. Scott. I know, sir. So he says, yes, sir, I know. So you see, he not even once says that sir, I wasn't wrong, I was having a problem. He doesn't tell anything in defense. He only tells, yes sir, I know that I have done something wrong. Lincoln, what is it? Scott, a pause. I couldn't keep awake, sir. So I was not able to keep myself awake. So he was so innocent. Lincoln, you had a long march. Long march, it means long march past. Scott, 23 miles, sir. So it was 23 miles. Lincoln, you were doing double guard. Yes, sir. Lincoln, who ordered you? Scott, well, sir, I offered. Lincoln, why? So Lincoln is asking, so you were on a double guard's duty. Who had offered you that? Why have you taken it? Did anybody order you? He said that no sir, nobody has ordered me. I had taken up this responsibility myself. But what was the reason for his taking up double duty? Let's see. Lincoln asked, why? Scott, Enoch White, he was sick, sir. We come from the same place. So we come from the same place. So during that time, coming from the same place or belonging to the same country or state or city, they used to consider them to be like brothers. They used to be so they used to keep their friendship in such a way as if they used to think these people who come from the same place as their own brother. So when this Enoch White, who fell asleep, this man who actually got the punishment was so generous, he was so kind, that he said that, you go back, I will do your duty, after having that long march. So that was quite helpful of him. We can see his helpful nature. Lincoln, where's that? As he said, same place. So Lincoln asked, where's that? Scott, Vermont, sir. Then he said, Vermont, that's the name of the place. Lincoln, you live there? Yes, sir. And then there's a dot. Dot means he couldn't say more. Maybe he was a little bit emotional. We've got a farm down there, sir. So we've got a land there. Lincoln, who has? My mother, sir. I have got a photograph, sir. He takes it out from his pocket and then he gives. So he takes out the photograph from his pocket and gives to Lincoln in order to show the photograph of his mother. Lincoln, taking it. Does she know about this? So does she know that you've got this punishment? Scott, for God's sake, sir, don't, sir. So, for a military man's mother, for a soldier's mother, it's a very proudful thing that my son is working for the country or for the state. But getting suspension is equally ruthless and is what shall I say? It's equally insulting. So mother would be very grief-stricken if she would have come to know. So he said that no sir, my mother doesn't know. She would be upset. Okay, Lincoln taking it. Scott, for God's sake, don't sir. So sir, please don't let her know that I have got this punishment. Lincoln, there, my boy. You are not going to be shot. So don't worry, you are not going to be shot. Why did Lincoln take such a decision? Because he understood that this boy is so honest, so truthful. Okay, so he decided to discharge him from this punishment. Scott, after a pause, he couldn't say because he couldn't believe that he will not get that punishment. Not going to be shot, sir? So he's confused. He says, I'm not going to be shot. Lincoln, no, Scott, not going to be shot. He breaks down sobbing. So all this time he was very nervous, and now he stops. Lincoln ringing and Lincoln rising and going. So he got up and he went to Scott as he was crying in order to give him a little bit of condolence. There, I believe you when you tell me that you couldn't be awake. I believed you because you said that you couldn't be awake. I'm going to trust you and send you back to your regiment. So I'm going to trust you. I'm going to send you back to your post. Then he goes back to the seat. Scott, when may I go back, sir? So, sir, when can I go back? Lincoln, you can go back tomorrow. I expect the fighting will be over though. I think the fighting is going to over, but you can take your post tomorrow. Scott, is it over yet, sir? Lincoln, not quite. No, it's not yet over. Scott, please, sir, let me go back tonight. Let me go back tonight. Lincoln, very well, he writes then. Do you know where General Meade is? Okay, I'll give you that permission. So he writes because that permission is needed. So he writes in the paper and says that go and do you know where Meade is? No, sir. Lincoln, asked one of those men to come here. So those guards who were standing outside, he told them that please ask he told him to call them so that he can ask for maid. Scott calls one of those guards in. Your prisoner is discharged. Take him at once to General Maid with this. Your prisoner is discharged, so take this and take. I give him the permission, he can go back to his war. He hands a note to him, the soldier. Yes, sir. Scott, thank you, sir. He salutes and goes with the soldier. So you see how dutiful this man was who was about to get the punishment. Okay. So that is it. In the next video, I will be starting with scene 2.